heard a story several years ago about this missionary who had traveled to Africa. He had been invited to come serve at this village, and when he gets there, there's a welcoming ceremony. The host greets the missionary and says, "I want you to meet the village winemaker as a part of us welcoming you here." So he goes to the winemaker's home and he sits with the host down at the table with the village winemaker. And they blindfold the village winemaker. And you've seen this before. You've seen where people have been blindfolded and they've taken a drink of wine only to tell you, oh, this is a Merlot or this is a Cabernet. But something special was going to happen here, something much different than what we typically think of. They put out 6 glasses in front of this blindfolded winemaker, and they grab 6 random bottles of wine from the cabinet, and they pour a different wine into each glass. And the winemaker, he takes a sip from the first glass and places it back down, and after smelling it, after tasting it, he says, "The grapes for this wine, they were grown about halfway up the mountain." And he goes to the second glass. He takes a sip of the second glass, he smells it and lets it sit for a while. He says, "The grapes for this wine, they were grown on the east side of the mountain." And then he moves on to the third glass and tastes it, smells it, lets it sit. And he says, "Okay, the grapes for this wine, they were grown on the south side of the mountain in a lot of sun that year, but there wasn't a lot of rain. And the grapes for this wine, they were probably harvested at about 3 weeks too early." And the missionary is impressed by all of this. He continues to go to the 4th glass and the 5th glass and the 6th glass, identifying all of these different things about the grapes that were used for the wine, and whether it was too sunny, too shady, too much rain, not enough rain, too early, too late. And it's all very impressive, but the missionary comes from a conservative background where alcohol is not to be had. You're not supposed to drink alcohol from his particular tradition. And he turns to the host and he asks the host, "Aren't you afraid that the people will get drunk on the wine?" And the host goes, "No, no, 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 no. To get drunk on the wine is to abuse a gift that God has given us." And it was a new understanding, a new learning for the missionary. Now, go to the story of Jesus when he's in Cana at a wedding, and they're there celebrating marriage, and suddenly the wine runs out. And for the wine to run out, that would be an embarrassing thing for the family. The celebrations would stop, everyone would go their ways, and it would just be a bad thing. And Mary, Jesus' mother, comes up to Jesus. "Jesus, they've run out of wine. Do something about this." And Jesus, looking at Mary, says, I can't do anything about this. My time hasn't come. But Mary knows who Jesus is. She knows that he's the Son of God. She knows what he's capable of. She's his mother, and she does what every mother would do. She pretends that she hasn't heard what Jesus has just said, and she turns to a couple of servants and says, "I want you to do whatever Jesus tells you to do," putting Jesus on the spot. So Jesus looks at them and he looks at 6 ritual washing pots, stone washing pots. And he tells them, "I want you to fill these washing pots to the brim with water." And they go and do that, and they fill these pots to the brim with water. It's 20 to 30 gallons each. He then proceeds to turn the water into wine, 120 to 160 gallons of wine that day. And he blesses the couple, he blesses the family, he blesses all of those in attendance with new wine. They would celebrate for days to come and then some. It was a true act of God. It was Jesus' first miracle. Now, I don't know where your cup has run dry. I know it's been a difficult couple of years for a lot of people in the world, and for some, a lot more than a couple of years. For some of you, I know that your country is going to war. And for some of you, I know that you've wrestled with poverty or racism or other issues like that. And for some of you, the global pandemic has just crushed you. It has weighed you down. You're tired of it. And your cup is just empty dry. It is bone dry. My prayer for you and my prayer for me is that Jesus would do for us what he did so many years ago for a couple in Cana. That he would take empty cups, he would fill them with water and turn it into wine. My prayer for you is that Jesus would bless you with a lot of wine this year. Bless you with a lot of reason to celebrate, a lot of reason to have hope, a lot of reason to be filled with joy. I love you guys. Grace and peace.